Listen. Look. Here comes Sky King. Sky King, America's favorite flying cowboy. Presented by America's favorite peanut butter, Peter Pan Peanut Butter.
Well, hi. Hi there. Hi there. Hi, gang, as it says in the script. I'm Larry Groby. This is Julie Barrett. I'm going to get on the mic, actually. That's a good idea. And this is the Generic Radio Workshop. We are audio archaeologists, shall we say. We restore and reconstruct a lost era of radio programs.
And just like the Vintage Radio and Phonograph Society, they restore old audio hardware. Well, we restore the stuff that played on it. Is it needed? Well, definitely. You may have read that something like 80% of all movies made before 1930 are lost. You think that's sad, but that's far worse than radio. It's easy to estimate that more than 90%, and perhaps much more than that, of all vintage radio network shows no longer exist. Why is that? Well, it's because the airwaves required continuous programming. That meant that thousands of series were staged, scripted, performed, went out over the air, and then, well, they just kind of vanished. Technology limits meant that only a few of those shows ever got recorded.
I mean, so much has been lost. The good news in that is that means there are so many exciting discoveries to be dug up. Tonight, we're going to tune the dial back almost exactly 74 years ago. November 21st, 1949, to be precise. That was a Monday. And for this Monday, and this is pretty typical, only 9 network radio episodes still survive in audio recordings. And that is just a tiny fraction of what you would have heard had you been listening that day. I mean, what's been lost? The Cisco Kid, Perry Mason, The Railroad Hour, The Beulah Show, My Friend Irma, Straight Arrow, Inner Sanctum, the Lux Radio Theater, every single daytime soap opera that day, all gone. And you can count tonight's show among them. Sky King. Now, some of you, I'm sure, do recall Sky King. But that's probably the TV show that you remember. Jim Sargent told me he remembers Sky's niece Penny in particular growing up. Because that show was filmed, of course, for syndication and thus ran for decades. I don't think many of you will remember the radio show well at all. And yet, the radio version was on the air twice a week from 1946 to 1954. 600 or more episodes. And you know what? Only about 10 audio recordings survive out of that 600. 98% of the episodes are gone forever. Now, some scripts do survive. And this is one of them here, the episode we're going to do tonight. We're bringing this back using an original vintage script from ABC from the Generic Radio Workshop's own archives.
Now, if you don't recall Sky King, it was kind of a Western techno adventure. Skylar King was a modern rancher who flew everywhere in his private plane, taking on bad guys of all kinds, assisted by his niece Penny, his nephew Clipper, and ranch hands Jim Bell and Nick Bump. Now, it was a show for the younger set, so it wasn't to be taken too seriously, but there is a whole lot going on. And today, this is just episode 7, chapter 126, part of the story arc called The 9 Who Vanished. We've made a slight change by gender swapping the villain. Originally, Dr. Shade is now Madame Shade. Simply because there really weren't enough parts for women back then, maybe outside of soap operas. At the middle of the century, it was taken for granted that adventuring was something pretty much limited to red-blooded American males. So, as you'll hear, the thrilling adventure tonight is just really an excuse to sell peanut butter. 31-year-old announcer Mike Wallace, yes, that Mike Wallace, handled the commercials.
And we're going to perform this program as close as we can to how it would have been done in 1949. Now, back then in Chicago, the cast would meet for one rehearsal, maybe two, and then, pros that they were, stand around studio microphones, just like these vintage mics, these ribbon mics, and perform a show live for an unseen nationwide audience. And whatever happened, happened because it was live. Oh, by the way, if anybody does have an old ribbon microphone they'd like to sell, come see me after the show. I have a good home for it. Likewise, the workshop had 2 rehearsals via Zoom, and tonight is the first time we've actually gathered in person to perform. So here too, whatever happens in the next half hour happens. But it goes no further than this room. Okay. In 1949, when music was needed as part of a show, there was a studio organist standing by, ready on the Hammond B3. And sound effects could be handled 2 ways. For the lengthy or the recorded special sounds, rain and things like that, they would turn to 78s. Okay? We're going to save the wear on these 80-year-old records that I have, and we're going to use a laptop computer instead. Likewise, our organist has been pre-recorded just to simplify things. Now, many sound effects were obviously performed live, and that's obviously fun to watch. At least the people on this side will have a good time watching. Here are some that let's do a few sound effects that you won't be hearing in tonight's episode. We have marching men, a whole army there. Oh, yes, okay. And they're marching to the fire, I guess. Where's the fire? Which is always better when the fire trucks arrive. And what have we got? Bells and whistles, Mr. Savage. He brought all the bells and whistles tonight, yes. There you go. Do we have any nature sounds back there still? Oh, yeah. Amy, you can grab one of them, too. There we go. Oh, and of course, the ultimate in wildlife, yes.
Yes.
The coconut hooks for the Lone Ranger.
And don't ask us if they're African or European coconuts. Yeah. So you're here watching us all tonight, obviously, but there was no live audience at these shows originally. If you find yourself chuckling at some of the outlandish situations and performances, that's quite all right. Don't worry about it. Enjoy. But on the other hand, if you feel just a little sad that the more than 98% of Sky King radio dramas episodes have been forever lost, let me give you something a little bit happier to think about. Consider that we're living in a new golden age of audio drama. This time, it's on the internet. There are hundreds and probably thousands of brand new audio dramas streaming all the time. Really creative shows, most done purely for the love of the audio drama medium. It's the theater of the mind, if you will. But if you like the classic old shows, I encourage you to seek out some of the new ones. And hopefully, these are being saved on plenty of hard drives and thumb drives and clouds. But for now, let's go back to Monday, November 21st, 1949. Here in North Texas, you tune in to 570 on the AM dial, whose big transmitter was just south of Grapevine. Sergeant Preston of the Yukon was just ending. The Lone Ranger would be coming on in half an hour, but at the bottom of the hour, the cast was waiting to cue Peter Pan to speak.
The American Broadcasting Company.
Hi, gang. This is Peter Pan. Every day when school is out, reach up on the shelf, grab that jar of Peter Pan, and treat yourself.
Peter Pan Peanut Butter presents Sky King. Today, the atomic trap. On a jungle-covered hill outside the village of Tangara in Central America rises a strange round-dome glass and steel building. This is the greenhouse laboratory of a French botanist, Andre Bolton, who vanished months ago. This is the address on a package mailed Air Express by the mysterious woman known as Madame Shade, an equally mysterious package with contents unknown. The shipping receipt for the package brings Sky and our friends to Tangara. Now they wait in the laboratory office while Federico, the native gardener, goes to call Bolton. Sky talks quickly, quietly.
I agree with all of you. It does look like Andre Bolton is working for Madame Shade. But there might be some mistake. I'm not going to accuse him because I can't believe such a great scientist would be part of a criminal scheme. We'll take it easy and let him do the talking.
Well, might as well start with the package, Sky. Everything might be cleared up if we knew what that madwoman, Madame Shade, sent down there.
Oh, Madam Shade couldn't be here ahead of us, Sky.
No, but her men may be planted anywhere. She could radio them to be watching for us.
Wonderful, wonderful. We get out of one mess, walk into another.
There's somebody in the hall.
Federico.
I have delivered your message. The Dr. Bolton is in the greenhouse. Federico, tell him you are here and he will come talk with you. Un momento.
Thank you.
Federico, it's pleasure to help. I work outside. You call me, you wish anything more.
What a character. Sky asked him to go find Dr. Bolton, and Federico acts like it's his life's work.
Well, these natives are serious. They don't say much, but when they do, they mean it.
Yeah, I know, but not even a grin or a smile.
Here comes Bolton.
Gentlemen, and a young lady. This is splendid. I have few visitors, and I am very glad to see you. You will stay the night. We can have supper, and then we
Well,
can...
this is more than a social call, Dr. Bolton. We're here to talk about a certain Madame Shade.
Oh, of course, Madame Shade. If you are her friends, you are most welcome.
I wouldn't say we're her friends. I mean,
No.
I do not understand. What have I said to surprise you?
Well, we're puzzled, Monsieur Bolton. Do you know that the world believes you have disappeared?
An unknown benefactor gave me money to leave France and establish my laboratory here in Tangara to conduct experimental work I could not do at home. In exchange, they exacted a promise. I would keep my work and my whereabouts a secret.
I see. And you have no idea who your unknown benefactor is.
Mais no, though I now believe he was an associate of a certain Madame Shade.
Well, there's no doubt of it. You were tricked into coming here.
What do you mean?
Are you aware that Madame Shade intends to use your knowledge to make himself a dictator, master of the world?
Certainly not. That was never mentioned. I would be no party to such an idea.
Golly, that's a relief.
Madame Shade's a killer. We're trying to capture her and protect men like yourself. My name is King, Sky King. And this is my niece Penny and nephew Clipper, my friends Jim Bell and Knickerbocker Bob.
Nice to meet you.
Welcome, sir. I thank you for giving me the true story of this insane scheme. I might have been taken in by her. Of course, she told me only what she wanted me to know.
You received a letter from her.
No,
A package? She mailed a package to you from the United States.
it has not arrived yet. Seems odd. If she had something for me, it's a wonder she didn't bring it to Tangara herself.
You were expecting Madame Shade?
Expecting her? She's here. She has been since early this morning.
since this morning.
Impossible.
No, I've talked with her on the telephone 3 times. That's why I recognized her name and was aware of part of her crazy scheme.
Sky, do you suppose that could
No one else has called me today.
Answer. Hold the receiver so we can hear.
Yes. This is Bolton speaking.
This is your friend, Madame Shade, Dr. Bolton.
Sky, her voice.
Quiet.
I have called to tell you more of my plan for a peaceful atomic world.
And I am not interested.
First, the world will be guaranteed many years without war, internal revolution, strife, and conflict of any kind.
I said I'm not interested.
Second, there will be no further concern about food, heat sickness. As you know, the power of atomic science can someday change all bad conditions to good. We will have everything we need.
You see why I was taken in by this scheme.
Third, control of the world will be placed in the hands of scientists, intelligent, trained men and women who will work for human benefit. We have had 4 conversations. I will call again soon and tell you a place and time when we will meet in person. Until later, my friend.
She hung up. Well, it's impossible but true. Shade is in Tangara and has been all day.
Puzzling. Puzzling to say the least.
Time for action. Get out your spy detecto-riders.
Oh,
That's here somewhere.
I have mine right here. Okay.
Everybody ready?
Yeah.
The code for tonight, protect Bolton. P equals B. Outside circle is P, B on the dial.
Okay. We got just a minute. Okay.
Yeah, I got it.
Peter,
What is this device, Mr. King? I have never seen anything like it.
Quite possible, Doctor. Mr. Schuyler King invented the instrument personally and entirely himself.
And golly, it's wonderful.
You see, this is the code part. You know, you can read letters from the outside circle to the inside, and you can scramble a message so no one will ever figure out what it means.
The Sky Detecto-Rider also prints.
Here's a ruler and a 3-power magnifying glass.
Any scientist is interested in invention, and this seems to be a fine example, practical for its purpose. You are to be congratulated, Mr. King, on your ingenuity.
Well, thank you. Now, orders. Everybody listen. Penny, Clipper, go back to town, to the telephone office. See if you can trace those calls. Find out where Shade is hiding.
Oh, that should not be difficult. The switchboard is small, and I had no other messages.
Well, we'll do our best, Sky.
Jim, you go to the airport. Check there and around town. See if you can find anyone who saw Shade land and can tell you where she went.
It's possible that the wires are tapped. We won't be able to telephone a report.
But we can send a printed report. A messenger could carry it and wouldn't be able to read it.
That's an idea.
I do not wish to intrude, but if there is a need for the humble services of Knickerbocker Bump, he would be...
You stay here with me. We'll wait for Shade's next phone call, if there is another call.
What do you mean, Sky?
When Madame Shade knows we're here, she may move fast. She may head for the laboratory and try to kidnap Dr. Bolton. If he does attack, we'll be ready.
In 1 minute, more of this exciting adventure, Sky King and the Atomic Trap. Kids, the quickest way to be the envy of your whole block is to get Sky King's Spy Detecto-Rider. Yes, the Detecto-Rider that Sky is using during the Atomic Trap. Gosh, just picture the Detecto-Rider. In one strong, compact metal case, there's an almost magical mechanism that prints words big and plain as a typewriter, that also codes and decodes messages, that also measures clues and magnifies hidden secrets with a 3-power glass. Now here's how it works. Spin the automatic knob until the letter you want comes up. Touch the Detecto-Rider to paper, and that letter is printed plain as day. Then a spin and a touch, a spin and a touch, and you've printed a whole message. There's an automatic ink feeder right in the Detecto-Rider. But that's just the beginning. The Spy Detecto-Rider also codes and decodes messages. There's a coding disk right on the Detecto-Rider with 26 different code systems. If you and a friend set the disk on your Detecto-Riders to the same codes, you can write absolutely secret messages. Gee, there are loads more magical features. There's a built-in spy-type magnifying glass, 3 power, and a detective's rule for measuring clues as small as 1/32 of an inch. Now, here's the wonderful bargain part. You can get the Spy Detecto-Writer for yourself for just 20 cents and a paper liner or disc from a Peter Pan peanut butter jar. Just take the lid off of the jar of Peanut Pan peanut butter, and you'll find either a paper liner inside the lid itself or a shiny metal disc lying right on top of the peanut butter. Send either the paper liner or the metal disc with your name, address, and 20 cents to Sky King, Box 3636, Chicago 77. Sky King, Box 3636, Chicago 77. This offer good in the United States only. So hurry and send today for a Spy Detecto-Writer, individually numbered for you. Remember, the Detecto-Writer prints messages, it codes and decodes messages, it measures clues, and it magnifies. Mail your letter tonight. Now, back to Sky King and the Atomic Trap. Impossible but true. Madam Shade has arrived in Tangara ahead of our friends. She has telephoned Andre Bolton 4 times. Penny and Clipper are sent to trace the calls. Jim goes to find Shade's plane to locate her hiding place. Sky and Nick stay behind at the greenhouse. An hour passes. Sky, Nick, and Bolton have waited patiently, but now they're jittery. Thunder and a steady beat of tropical rain wears their nerves thin. Then,
Somebody at the door.
It's about time.
I'll get it. Yes?
Senor, I am told to bring this.
Fine. Wait on the porch. I want to take back an answer. A printed note. Can't tell who sent it until we see what it says. You decode part of it, Nick.
Spread it out on the table, Mr. King.
Wait till I sit down. There you are.
You have objections if I stay and see how this is done?
Oh, not at all, Doctor.
Simplicity is the word for this device, sir. Simple but complicated enough to defy imitation. The code P equals B. Very well. The first letters R, S. R is in. S is O. The decoded word is no.
FZYSFH means record.
No record.
Sounds bad.
Next we have SC. S is O. C is F. The word of.
YVNNJ is calls. Penny and Clipper were checking the telephone office.
No record of calls. It appears that one of our leads is a washout.
Well, there's still Jim. He'll find something. We'll tell Clipper and Penny to get back here. One word should do it. Return.
You want me to scramble it up for you, Mr. King?
Yes, encoded, printed on this piece of paper.
Certainly.
I can't understand, Bolton. If Shade's calls went through that switchboard, you'd think... Jim's messenger.
Andre in Tangara said bring this to Sky King. You're Sky King, no?
Yes, wait here for an answer.
Si, senor.
This must be from Jim, and I don't like the looks of it.
Sitting code, was it?
Same as the other, see?
Well, how can you tell whether it is good or bad news without decoding the words?
The first 2 letters. RS. We had that before, in the other message. It was no.
BNVRZ means plane. No plane.
RS is repeated. And the 4th word, JGVHZ, J is S, G is H, V is A, it's shade. No plane, no shade. Impossible. If she was in Tangara, practically everybody at the airport and a lot of other people would know it. I still don't believe she is here.
Discouraging. Very discouraging.
I might as well get them back up here to the laboratory and start again.
The code letters for return are
Read slowly, Nick. I'll print a note for Jim.
N, Z, E, K, F, R.
Good. Now we'll give those to the messengers. Then we'll all sit around and try to figure out what kind of magic was used to get Madame Shade's voice down here ahead of Shade herself.
Getting old, Mr. King. Eyes are going back on me.
Looking into streams of water and flashes of lightning is a strain on them. Nick, mine are tired too.
What's he doing out there anyway? Carrying potted plants from one place to another? Puttering, that's what I call it.
Maybe. But Dr. Bolton's work is mighty important.
Shooting plants with atoms? I don't know.
Well, here's how he explains it, Nick. Plants, seeds, are bombarded with atomic sparks. Some of the cells die, but others get stronger. So, what grows out of the ground is changed. Maybe a dwarf, maybe a giant. Bolton told me about a pineapple that produces fruit 4 times the size we see in a store.
Big as a bushel basket, huh?
Well, that's just one example. Come into the next room. Did you notice that large round ball hanging inside the greenhouse?
Yeah, I did. Wondered what it was, too.
Well, Dr. Bolton calls it a cannon. He bombards the plants with it. The walls are lead, thick enough to keep atomic sparks from escaping. Inside is a charge of powerful radioactive material. Now look here.
A panel of switches.
They control the cannon. Touch this one and a window in the ball opens slowly. Touch another and the ball starts to turn. It shoots out a stream of dangerous, invisible sparks that cover the greenhouse.
Why does he have to work it in from here?
Radiation can injure and change humans like it does plants. Bolton might be dead by now if he wasn't careful. That cannon of his is practically a death ray.
There's sure a lot of things in this room. Tables all cluttered up. What's under these covers anyway?
Careful, Nick. Don't touch anything. It's all testing equipment, machines, chemical retorts.
Oh! Almost fell down. Hope I didn't break anything bumping that table.
You tripped over this wire on the floor. Pulled out the plug. Here, I'll fix it. Get this box out of the way. Here's the socket. There. Everything's back the way it... Wait a minute.
More trouble, Mr. King?
Not trouble, Nick. A break.
We're back, Sky.
I couldn't dig up one lead. Nobody ever heard of Madame Shade.
Hey, what are you doing under that table, Sky?
I'm getting clumsy. Boy, your uncle had to fix a wire I tripped over.
Lucky for us you did. Look what I found.
A box, huh?
The package Madame Shade mailed from the United States. This label matches the receipt that brought us down here.
That's got to be useful some way.
Good.
This had a piece of electrical equipment in it. Look around the room and try to find something about the same size. Let's go.
Okay.
Let's go.
Let's see what's no. Oh, hey, Sky. Sky,
What is it, Clipper?
take a look. I just opened this cabinet. A hunch, I guess, and gosh, there it was.
A phonograph. I'll turn it on. You see this, a wire from the speaker to a telephone cable. That's the answer.
Answer to what, Mr. King?
Listen to the record and you'll know.
Trained men and women who will work for human benefit. I've had 4 conversations. I will call again soon and tell a place and time when we will meet in.
That's enough. Those are the words we heard before. Shade sent a phonograph and recordings of her voice. She planned to capture Bolton without even coming to Tangara.
And someone has to play him, Sky.
Someone who would know when Bolton was convinced and could take him away without a struggle.
Oh, now we've got to find out.
Well, listen.
Heading for the far door. Get this cabinet door closed. Easy. Now, hide behind that table over there.
Put your hand up.
Oh, it's Frederico, the gardener.
Watch what he does.
It's the phonograph.
He's pushing a button, ringing the greenhouse phone.
This is your friend, Madame Shade. I called to tell you the time and place where we will meet in person. Listen carefully. Guanato Valley is only a short walk from where you are. I will be waiting there within an hour. Do not fail me, Dr. Bolton. I am expecting you. Until we meet...
Sky, he's packing a pistol.
Drop that gun. Drop it! Raise your hands and walk over here. How much did Madame Shade offer you to deliver Dr. Bolton? How much, Federico?
No comprende, senor.
Suddenly forgot how to speak English, Sky.
Nah, the Tangara police speak his language. They'll know how to handle him. Jim.
Yes, Sky?
Take Federico down the hill to the jail.
Sure.
The rest of us will go out to the greenhouse and tell Bolton he's out of danger, and that Shade is miles from here. We'll meet you at the Flying Arrow in an hour.
Okay, I'll be there. All right, you get moving.
You watch him, Jim.
Don't you worry. No, not that way, Buster. No jungle paths for me. I'll walk down the middle of the road, straight into town. Sidewinder who double-cross his boss ought to get set up for at least 10 years. Hear what I said? 10?
I heard you, my friend.
Excellency.
Madam Shade.
Yes, Madame Shade, with a Luger pointed at the middle of your back. Federico, take his gun. Yes, now we return to the laboratory. We will capture Mr. Bolton. And perhaps end this long feud between the invincible Madame Shade and Sky King.
Minutes later, our unsuspecting friends walk through the greenhouse examining weird, curious plants. Plants with thick leaves, heavy stems, huge blossoms. Bright flashes of lightning throw the pattern of barred windows across the floor. Steady clicks echo through the large room. Clipper asks about the sound, and Dr. Bolton explains.
An alarm system for my protection. The clicks of a Geiger counter, amplified. If dangerous atomic sparks escape while I am working, I will be warned.
Golly, it's nice to relax for a change.
A relief to quit worrying about Madame Shade.
Where is that Guanato Valley he talked about, Dr. Bolton?
I will show you. We cannot see much in the dark, but during the days there's a fine view from this window. Below there. You see it as that flash of lightning?
I'll say I did.
Me too, Sky.
Shade's airplane.
It probably just landed. We were wrong, Dr. Bolton. She did fly to Tangara, and she's waiting for you.
What do we do, Mr. King?
Beat her to the punch. Get down there and surround her.
This way to the door.
I wish I hadn't sent Jim into town.
I will help, Mr. King.
Well, thanks, Doctor. But you'd better stay out of sight. We'll leave you here in the greenhouse. With bars on the windows and a steel door, Shade won't be able to get near you.
If you think it is best. Here is the door.
It must be stuck.
Strange.
Locked. Locked from the outside.
Listen. The alarm. It's beating faster.
The cannon. It's starting to swing around.
And the little window, it's opening.
Something must have gone wrong with the remote controls.
Or somebody is working those switches on purpose. The telephone. Let me answer it. Hello, Madame Shade.
Very clever, Mr. King. You have guessed correctly. But you are too late. You are locked in the greenhouse, and at this moment you are bombarded by invisible atomic sparks. You know what that means,
Yes,
Mr.
I
King.
know. Yes, I know.
These are my terms. Listen. Dr. Bolton must agree to join my organization, must agree to cooperate. You must surrender, and I promise no mercy. If you refuse, your friend Jim Bell, my prisoner, and the rest of you, all will die. Decide quickly, Mr. King. I have an appointment with my construction engineer in Kunani tomorrow morning. I do not intend to be late. Decide quickly, Mr. King, or you will never leave the atomic trap in which you are caught.
In 1 minute, the thrill-packed conclusion of this adventure, Sky King and the Atomic Trap. Hey, if you want to have the best time of your life, get busy and get yourself the Sky King Spy Detecto-Writer. The Detecto-Writer Sky is using in The 9 Who Vanished. Think of it. This spy detecto-writer in one strong, compact metal case has an almost magical mechanism that prints words big and plain as a typewriter. You simply spin the automatic knob till the letters you want comes up, touch the detecto-writer to paper, and that letter is printed plain as day. A spin, a touch, a spin, a touch, and you've printed a whole message. There's an automatic ink feeder built right in. The Detecto-Writer also lets you code and decode messages in 26 secret codes. And there's a built-in spy-type magnifying glass, 3 power, plus a detective's rule for measuring clues. Now, you can get your own Spy Detecto-Writer for just 20 cents and a paper liner or disc from a Peter Pan peanut butter jar. Take the lid off of a jar of Peter Pan peanut butter. You'll find either a paper liner inside the lid itself or a shiny disc lying right on top of the peanut butter. Send either the paper liner or the metal disc with your name, address, and 20 cents to Sky King, Box 3636, Chicago 77. Sky King, Box 3636, Chicago 77. This offer good in the United States only. Remember, this Detecto-Writer is individually numbered, prints messages, codes and decodes messages, measures clues, and it magnifies. Get busy and write today. Now, back to Sky King and the Atomic Trap. Our friends are locked inside the greenhouse as an atomic cannon sprays the room with fatal rays. The clicks of the alarm grow faster, louder. Madame Shade demands surrender or...
All will die. Decide quickly, Mr. King, or you will never leave the atomic trap in which you are caught. Decide quickly. I will call again in 1 minute.
You heard what she said?
Most of it, Sky.
Oh, we can't just surrender.
60 seconds. If we could only stop the cannon, cut the radiation. Bolton, where are the wires that control it?
Oh, high above us. A cable runs along that steel beam. We could never reach it.
It's even hard to see. But I'll try a bullet.
Shoot at a target no bigger around than a clothesline, and at 100 yards away, you'll never hit it, Mr. King.
Probably not.
If the power is cut, the window springs closed. We will be out of danger.
Quiet, everybody. Well, try again. We're safe. Now we can take time to think.
Mr. King, I think I know a way out. The ventilator. There's a grill near the floor here.
Room to crawl through and outside. Stand back. Maybe I can force it with my boot. No time to...
It's Madame Shade again.
Let it work. Did it. You first, Clipper. I'll follow.
Okay, yeah, Sky.
Run for the side door in the testing room. The rest of you get in there as fast as you can. Wait, Clipper, wait! Shade'll hear him. She'll be warned. Clipper! I was afraid of that.
Sky! Madam Shade, she heard me, she got away. I don't think I can hold Frederico much longer.
I'll take over. Untie Jim.
You will not stop me, senor.
Talk English now, huh? See if you understand this!
Caramba! I give up. I quit.
Stand where you are.
I'll guard him, Sky. This time he won't give me the slip.
Sky, did you capture Madam Shade?
Gosh, no, Penny. I'm afraid I let her get away. And we don't have any idea where she's going to go next.
Yes, we do, Clipper. Shade told me on the telephone she had an appointment with his construction engineer in Kunani.
Construction engineer?
One of the 3 atomic experts who disappeared months ago was an English construction engineer named Blaney.
He must be the man Madam Shade meant.
That's right, Penny. Blaney must be in Kunani, South America. Shade has an appointment, all right. She can keep it, and so will we. Let's go!
And so, once again, Sky King has won in his constant fight for justice. Again, he has defeated the sinister Madam Shade and is one step closer to a final showdown. Sky King is presented by the makers of Peter Pan peanut butter.
Every day when school is out, reach up on the shelf, grab that jar of Peter Pan, and treat yourself. Oh, so smooth and fresh. So fresh and smooth.
There are 2 kinds of Peter Pan now.
Smooth Peter Pan in the red top jar. Peter Pan crunchy peanut butter in the green top jar.
Ask Mom to get both kinds. You'll like 'em.
And this is Peter Pan saying, look for me in my bright green dress on the Peter Pan peanut butter jar.
Sky King features Jack Lester, Johnny Coons, Burl Vaughn, Mike Wallace speaking. This is ABC, the American Broadcasting Company.
Well, wasn't that exciting, boys and girls? Did you follow all of that? Because there's a test. Starting with who are the other 8 people who vanished. Anyway, thank you for listening tonight. I want to introduce tonight's cast. You've got little sheets there that you can read about, but they've all been, many of them, with us for many years, starting with, Amy Barrett. Who's been here forever. Julie Barrett, stand up, please. Yep. Paul Barrett. Yep. Ladies and gentlemen, Gary Layton. Gage Platt and his lovely wife, Susan. Kim Titus. Mike Wallace. And Greg Vestal. And I'm Larry Groby. Thank you for listening tonight. We now return you to your regularly scheduled program, already in progress.